said, I will say over to you, Adam.
Okay, thank you all for joining us in this call. I'm very happy to welcome all of you here, the people in the call and the note takers. And let me walk you through what I prepared. I have a few slides for you, and then I will be showing a demo of an app that we have built or that we are building to support the thesis that I'll be presenting. So let me start sharing. Now, it did work a short while ago.
I'm sure it'll work again. You got this. Don't worry, Adam.
Yeah. Good. Can you see it now?
Yes. Department scale AI, small solutions, big impact.
Perfect. Thank you. So a lot of talk is being done around AI, and my perception is that when we speak about it, we mostly speak about it at two levels. We speak about the individual solutions. Many of us are using LLMs on a daily basis, and we are speaking about it at the global scale. So we are speaking the integration of AI into the products that we are using, into Microsoft Offices, Google tools, into the CMSs we work with or we work on. But I'm convinced there is another level that we should look at. That's the level in between these two. I call it the team level or the department level. And I think this is an opportunity where a lot of work can be done with the solutions and with the technology which is available today. Now, let me explain what I'm trying to say. When we speak about the individual use of AI or the prompts that we are using, all the requests that we are sending to the LLMs every day, it's usually our task that we need to help it. It's very specific. It's something that we are dealing with every day. It's not scaling because it's our tasks. And even though there is help in this, this doesn't impact our organizations at scale. Now, on the other hand, when we speak about the global solutions, the impact will be huge, but then we are not speaking about specific solutions, then we are speaking about generic solutions, which are much more difficult to build. Let me give an example. If you were working at an e-shop, which is selling fashion, and you were responsible for the product descriptions, you might be using ChatGPT to help you generate the right product descriptions, which helps you, but is a very specific solution and does not scale. You might be waiting for a tool to be developed that will be improving all the descriptions for all the products, but that will have to consider plenty of issues to make sure it's really a generic solution that works for everybody. And what I'm suggesting is that there is a level in between, and that is using AI-based tools, which can be simple, but if they are used across a team, they can have a significant impact and an improvement in the productivity and efficiency of things we are doing. Now, let me continue. Maybe you are listening to me and you think, well, we are paying Copilot to developers or the Cursor AI, so that's covered. Now, what I'm suggesting is there's a lot of knowledge in our teams, which is away from what the developers do. And as you can see here, this is just a list of examples that every organization is using to store knowledge, to store wisdom, to store experience. And I think each of these is an opportunity for scaling a spreadsheet or a process description into an application, into a small app, into maybe just an LLM wrapper, which will help us work easier and faster and smoother together. Now, if it's as I describe, why is it not happening? We are seeing plenty of tools around, suggesting all sorts of productivity improvements and so on. But we also know that it's rather difficult to find the right way, the right approach to use it, to apply them well. The chart in the middle, which is difficult to read, but you can have a look at the blog post that I'm referring to, is showing a study or is referring to a study where doctors were given ChatGPT to help them with X-ray analysis. And the chart is showing the results. The blue box is showing the performance of doctors without ChatGPT. The red box is showing the best performance was achieved when the X-ray, when the ChatGPT was used without the doctor's intervention, and the green box is doctors who had access to ChatGPT. Now, as you can see, even though they had used a tool which potentially offered them productivity improvement or improvement in their results, they did not really use it because they were most likely overruling the suggestions by their own experience, basically decreasing the overall performance or results of the experiment. Very interesting one, and just an evidence which is showing how difficult it is to find the right way to use the technology to help us. Now, there's just a single response to all this. We need to be trying out, we need to be searching for the border between what we can do better as humans and what the tools can do better, and search for the right combination of these two. By starting with this introduction, I would like to show you what we did in our team. Now, let me share the browser window.
All right, live demo, here we go.
Sorry. Okay, so I hope you can still see my screen. You can see the demo page.
Yep, the workbench.
Excuse me, yeah, the workbench, exactly. So we are building an internal set of tools that we are trying to expand over the time, and we believe these are small things which are bringing improvements to our efficiency. What I believe is important is that we are building this together. So these are tools which are incorporating the approaches or suggestions across our team. And I'll just walk you through the things that we have developed so far. Now, effort estimation is what you would expect. So this contains a simple database of estimates that we did in the past, and it's using a simple RAC search, which is just allowing the analysts or whoever is doing estimations to have a look at the past similar components or similar widgets or parts of our solution, and compare the things which need to be estimated with what we did in the past. A pretty simple thing. The next one is considering Jira projects and is running a quality review of how the user stories in Jira are described. So these user stories are loaded from Jira, but each of the user stories is checked against a given set of rules. For this example, I'm having rules which are basically suggesting or checking the structure of a user story. So the user story should have the form as a product developer or as a content editor. I want to do this and that. But it can be more complex, and it can reflect the approach or the preferences of your or the standards of your team, of your company. And again, it's giving some kind of an overall feedback. So this is a story from our internal project, and you can see that if you look at the internal Jira project, there are a few stories which are fine, and there are some stories which will require some care. So this is another example, a simple one, but one that can help us to make sure that we stick to standards across our team, and that will help us to work better together. The next one is something that is supposed to help us at the beginning of new projects. When a new client approaches us as an agency and asks for an analysis of their websites or maybe some initial estimates, we typically need to understand what does their website contain. So let me just use an example of a website that we all know and like.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and it's just like processing the content and providing some aggregated view of what's there, what is mainly contributing to the overall content, showing the extent of the content that need to be considered. The ideas that we further have on the backlog for this particular tool is to go farther, go beyond this, and maybe do some like initial analysis of the content structure for the main content items to help us or to contribute to content modeling of the content that we are referring to. So that is another example. And the last one that I wanted to show is an example that we are using in our support team. Now, the support team is looking after the solution that we have built and that are being used in production. And when a ticket arrives, there are a few things that they need to do. First, they need to check if this is a valid ticket. Sometimes when there's high urgency, the clients might not be describing the issue in the proper way with the details that we need to analyze it. So this is the first thing to look at. The second topic that is often being discussed on support tickets is the priority. There is some priority description in the contract. There is perception of the priority, which can be different. So this is another topic. And the third thing that is important is to understand if this is similar to something that has been done in the past. Now, this is not always straightforward because the support team is looking after multiple projects, multiple customers, so they can't just look at it from the top of their head. And this is exactly what this tool is supposed to help them with. So basically, it loads some initial information from Jira. I'm looking at data from a test environment, so and there's no sensitive information, so we don't need to worry, but it's live from our system. It's as demos should be. Now, what it does, it's running this validity check, which is basically in our case, it's considering whether or not the description of the issue is understandable, whether it describes the process of simulating the issue. The priority check is another interesting thing because we are applying the priority definitions, which is defined for the particular customer. Even though they are similar, there might be some differences. And what basically this is doing, it looks at the description of the issue and it compares the priority in Jira with the priority that the LLM has proposed based on the issue description and displays it here. In this particular case, the LLM agrees that the medium priority is just correct. And the last part, which is shown here, is references to similar incidents or references to user stories which might be related to the behavior in question. Some of these things can also be done directly in Jira. So I know that Jira is also able to search for similar incidents, but this is something that gives us more power and more flexibility in order to only look at the issue types that we need to consider or simply tweak the parameters based on how we typically use it. So not huge solutions, not big things, but as I have shown or as I have mentioned in the beginning in the title of the talk, it's a small solution which can have a large impact, and this is why I'm in this call and why I wanted to share this with you. Now let me get back to the slide deck because I have one more slide to show, and it should be visible right now. So I'm basically speaking about agents or AI agents without mentioning the word on itself. But I wanted to close this talk by giving you this example. Maybe it's more to read, but I will be sharing the slides so you can look at it afterwards. My favorite here is the Rivet solution that we want to experiment a little bit more with, because this is a visual tool which requires no coding, but allows you to define workflows which can include tasks like content processing or parsing files or connecting to other systems with LLM prompts and LLM processing, which I think can give a lot of power to people who are not familiar with development as such. So this is it. Thank you for your attention. And I would be very interested what's going on this front in your teams, on your sites. In one of the previous CMS Expert session, we saw a migration tool which was developed by an agency, which of course is a bigger task than what I have been presenting. But I'm sure similar thoughts or actions are also taking place at your companies, and I will be very curious to hear from you and to understand where you are in this field. So thank you for your attention, and that's it for my part.
Thank you very much, Adam. So that was well done. Brief 5-6 minute intro, 10-minute demo, showing us something that I think is quite specific to the business that ACTUM is in. But I do get this point of team tasks, team knowledge, and this middle ground. Any questions, comments? Anybody else been exploring at this middle layer? Who wants to go first? I always do like these examples of putting AI to good use. Why don't you start, Lucy?
My thought is that it's a good way to manage permissions without having to manage permissions. What I'm thinking here is, as you said, you can go into Jira and look through the previous incidences and look for similarities. The agent that's then using this particular lookup doesn't necessarily have to have the Jira permissions, but they can get to the fields that are relevant to the particular call they're on. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah.
Very good. Anybody else? Perhaps Lasse, Adam Böhm, are you doing something like this internally?
We are doing a bit. So we have a public issue tracker because we have an open source project, and we have actually tried to run tools to find similar issues and so on. But I think to me the first slide resonates very much with what I see, that right now it's very individual and or very, very big projects, but the things on team level is also lacking here at us, I would say. So really I'm spot on to at least what I see, I would say.
All right. Thank you, Lasse. How about going to Canada? Seb, I see you on this call. You've been championing AI, do-it-yourself, open source, all these things. Does it also resonate with you with this missing team layer?
Definitely. I think this is where a lot of the future is. I think for small, medium companies, right, where you don't necessarily need all of the world's knowledge that is built into an LLM, but you need it to have a better understanding of what you have. One of the things we're working on at TELUS, which isn't quite the same, but that's similar, is we're using something new that a lot of LLMs are adopting called the MCP servers, which stands for Model Context Protocol, which is essentially a way to give an LLM real-time access to your systems and to anything internal that you have. And so an example of what we're working on right now is we're working on essentially a set of systems that would allow an LLM to talk to Dynatrace, Jira, and a bunch of our other PagerDuty and some of our other real-time systems, so that when we have an incident, when our team of support users joins a bridge or starts to work on an incident, there's an LLM that has already received data from Dynatrace, from PagerDuty, and other systems, that are monitoring in real time the impacted systems, and it starts to formulate sort of direction and ideas and guidance around what to do about the incident before humans have even started to get involved. And so I think that to me feels like where a lot of this is going. Adam, I'm not sure if you guys are using MCP for this or that kind of thing. I'll paste the link for anybody.
We are looking into it, but we have not used it so far. But yeah. I think this is yet another possibility or another direction how these tools could be extended. Yeah.
All right, then let's go to the. Yeah, we'll go to the US, start with Brian, and then Mike afterwards.
Sure. Adam, great stuff. Thanks for sharing. I'm working with a company that's actually trying to do some similar things commercially, bringing in ServiceNow data, customer purchase history, and things, and allowing the support team to have a better view of it. My question for you is, how much are you relying on the LLM to kind of configure itself, or configure the rules for each customer and the context? And I ask in the spirit of, documentation is one of the banes of human existence, and we're not always the greatest at it. So, sometimes giving proper instruction to even a human being is hard to do. So how much are you pre-configuring?
So we have tried some of the tasks with different, I would say, approach. So the first thing I was showing was the estimates. And the first thing my team tried was they just uploaded all the information. They created this my GPT, or this like custom GPT, and tried to simply use this for querying against the information. Now, this didn't really work. So apparently what was important in this case was splitting the task in smaller things, in this case, running the rack embedding calculation and the rack preparation around that. And by splitting this, basically the importance of the prompt, or the sensitivity to the prompt, to the exact prompt wording, became much less important. So basically, we are using just ChatGPT 4o mini, one of the cheaper and fast models, and that's just sufficient for what we need.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you. Mike, did you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Adam. This is very, very useful, and I totally agree with the overall concept that you presented. One thing I experimented with a bit on a previous team about a year and a half ago was using generative AI tools to aid with content creation and authoring. And we did some experimentation, like even just super basic stuff, like, hey, asking our internal company, Gen AI tool to summarize an article, or come up with ideas for tags and keywords, or rewrite this paragraph to be in a more conversational, less formal writing style. And it's like, it works, but it's also really difficult to like embed that in the ongoing operational processes. And so it never like really fully took off. It was more of just an experiment. So I'm interested if you or others have any similar experiences and you've had better luck really getting it to take hold as part of the day-to-day process.
Great. So perhaps before you answer, Adam, let's hear it from Bart, and then you can pick it up afterwards, Adam.
Yeah, I wasn't. Hi, everybody. I wasn't able to answer Michael's question right away, and probably too much. But let me add another question to Adam. Probably can then think about. Thanks, Adam, by the way, for the activating the thought process for everybody. I'm just curious. You talk a lot about the tools itself, or the opportunities that you have, and I like the approach to the task that you say. Well, pick one that bothers you the most. But when you're now using it, how's the adoption in the organization? Because it's also a bit of, let's say, change management process that you go into, and not just tools, you could say.
Yeah. So thanks for both questions. I'll try to be brief so that we stay in the time. So Michael, to what you said, in the recent CMS Experts kickoff at Florida, someone said that for the marketers, the content is the key thing, that how they present themselves, or the main result of their work, and they don't want to let it out of their hands. So I think this is also what we are seeing with our clients. They want to have full control of the content that is going out. And this is actually also the opportunity that I'm trying to address, because I think to get there, there's plenty of tasks which need to happen before. And I think that's where we can look at, and that's where we can look for improvements, and maybe significant ones. To what you said, Bart, thanks for the feedback overall. The change management process around this, this is a good topic, and I can say that in our teams we have some like early adopters, and we have some people who are very suspicious about all this. But what is very clear here is that when there is value, they will not object. So if this helps them in their daily job, that's what drives the adoption. And these tasks are actually easy because you don't need to persuade them about big concepts. It's tasks that save them, well, some time every day. And if that really does the job, then it's pretty straightforward.
So you could say it's start small and get one of those champions that is in, and then you roll out, whether it's like on the Gen AI side or the, let's say, the team tasks or something.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, we have all seen websites which are suggesting that you just type in a prompt and the whole website gets generated for you. I don't think that we are far away from that. But I have shown a collection of 4 tools or 5 tools. I would like this collection to have 20 or 30 tools in a year's time, and I think there's room for that. We just need to look for the opportunities and do the steps one at a time.
Great. Thank you, Adam. What a great mix of some of my favorite parts, some good slides, live demo, and even better here at the end, the Q&A, which we got, I think, covered different parts of the world. Anything, closing comments from anyone? Now is the time. I will say thank you, Adam. Really appreciate it. Good job. That's all we had.
Thank you all.
Take care, guys. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.